Hey, this is Toad Racer, and I'm going to show y'all how to play Tumblefolk Tempest. Alright, so the basic idea is we've got this race of people who perhaps unwisely make their home in tumbleweed. So you see we've got a tumbleweed here, and we've got two little faces poking out. We call them Tumblefolk. Alright, and so being tumbleweed, they're subject to the will of the wind. And today, the wind happens to be blowing them into a cactus patch, which is clearly not a good place for a tumblefolk, so we are going to step in and try and save them from being pricked by some cacti using this portal here. Alright, so on each turn of the game, all the tumblefolk will move one space right. So if I end my turn here, this tumblefolk moves right. And if I end my turn again, the Tumblefolk moves into this portal. And whenever it does that, it gets teleported to safety, and I will get 2 points. And now that I've saved all the Tumblefolk on the board, I can move on to the next tutorial level. Okay, now this one isn't going to be quite as simple. I can't just end my turn and wait for the Tumblefolk to hit the portal because the Tumblefolk is on the wrong side of the portal. So this is where your first abilities get introduced. So you play as this character Nimbus, and she has a few wind powers, but her primary ability is she can connect characters or units together using these wind tethers. So basically, when I press E, I can start drawing the wind tethers, and I have to start drawing from a unit, which is either a Tumblefolk or the portal. So I could start drawing from here if I want. And then I have to draw until I reach another unit. So I can't stop drawing right here. If I try and end my turn now, nothing happens. I have to draw to another unit. So in this case, there's only one other unit, which is the portal. So I draw to the portal, and now I've completed a connection, and you can only complete one connection per turn, so that's why Nimbus is exhausted right now. So now that I've connected it to the portal, the Tumblefolk will now move along the wind instead of moving to the right. So now the Tumblefolk starts moving left, and it will hit the portal and be saved. And I've got my 2 points, and I can go to the next tutorial level. Okay, so now just need to play around with the same concept, but with a little extra. So now we have 2 Tumblefolk. Okay, before we only had 1. So I can't get both Tumblefolk to hit the portal at the same time, but if I connect one of them to the portal, then they still both get saved anyway. And that's because whenever a Tumblefolk hits the portal, it doesn't just teleport itself. It also activates a teleportation in all of the pink squares as well. So whenever a Tumblefolk hits the portal is activated. That's what the terminology, and it will save any Tumblefolk within its pink AoE. Okay, so that's why I only need to connect one Tumblefolk to the portal in order to save all of them and get my points, and I can move on. Okay, so again, I have 2 Tumblefolk. I need to make sure both of them are in the pink area when one of them hits the portal. So see, if I just end my turn now, the one on the left here hits the portal, but at the same time, this one on top moves out of the pink AoE, and so it does not get saved. So in order to prevent that, I need to use wind to connect this top Tumblefolk to the portal. So now they will both be in the pink area whenever the portal is activated, and I can move on. Alright, so another variation, except this time I can't connect this Tumblefolk to the portal in order to prevent him from leaving the AoE, which he will, as you can see. He will leave the AoE if I do nothing. So I have to connect him I have to use wind to keep him in the AoE somehow. I can't connect him to the portal, and that's because every space can only have one incoming wind arrow. So the portal already has this wind arrow pointing towards it. So I'm going to have to connect this Tumblefolk to the other Tumblefolk, forming a longer chain in order to keep them both in the pink area whenever the portal is activated. Okay, so just another variation. This time these two were already connected together, so I just have to finish the chain to send them both to the portal. Okay, so this time is a bit different. There's already a connection between these two units, but it's in the wrong direction. We want the Tumblefolk to be connected to the portal, but it's the other way around. So instead of the Tumblefolk moving to the portal like we want, they both just move to the right until the Tumblefolk falls into the cacti. Okay, so we want to prevent that, and the way we do that is we've got to start a tether at the Tumblefolk and end it at the portal to form a loop, and that triggers what we call a tornado. And in a tornado, all the units on the chain will basically swap places with each other. So in this case, the portal moves to along the chain to where the Tumblefolk was, and the Tumblefolk moves along the chain to where the portal was. And so they swap places. And now the Tumblefolk will move into the portal like we want it to. Okay, so another variation on that, but this time we have two Tumblefolk. So in order, I would need to get both Tumblefolk onto the left side of the portal. So the way I'm going to do that is first I'm going to make them into a long chain, and then I'm going to form a loop with this longer chain. And so in this case, the units are going to do the same thing. The Tumblefolk's going to move to where the portal was. The portal's going to move to where this Tumblefolk was, and this Tumblefolk is going to move to where the rear Tumblefolk was, leaving both Tumblefolk to the left of the portal. And so when I end my turn, they both move into the AoE and the portal is activated, so they both get saved. Alright, so you may have noticed that the portal, every time you activate it and save some Tumblefolk, it goes into this inactive state where it has no pink AoE anymore. And so since it has no AoE, that means we can't save any Tumblefolk with it. So we have to recharge it in order to use it again and continue saving Tumblefolk. So the way you do that is you just do a tornado anywhere. It can be any kind of tornado with any units. But if you just do any kind of tornado, then the portal will be recharged. And so now we just did this tornado and the portal has recharged, and we can just end our turn and the Tumblefolk is saved. Okay. You may have also noticed that the pink area under the portal has been different sizes on different levels. The reason for that is that when you charge it, its size is determined by how many distinct wind tethers are on the board. So just to show an example, if you were to do your tornado with these two Tumblefolk like this, then you would recharge the portal. But since there are no wind tethers left on the board, the AoE of the portal is as small as possible. But if you were to do your tornado with the portal, then after the tornado, there is still one wind tether left on the board, so the AoE is the next step up. It's slightly bigger, and in fact, it is big enough to save both these Tumblefolk at once, which is important on this level because I have low energy right now. And energy, whenever you run out of energy, the game is over. So if I was just to do it like this, then you see I run out of energy and I don't have time to save this second Tumblefolk. And that's no good. So in order to save both Tumblefolk in time, you have to recharge the portal this way, where it's larger and can take both Tumblefolk in a single turn. Okay. Alright. So now there's a new, I'm on low energy, and there's also a new element on the board. So we call this an ability tile. And what an ability tile does is if you draw a wind tether into the ability tile, like so, then it activates whatever ability is on the tile. So you can tell what ability is on the tile by the blue markings around it. This one is called Surge. And what Surge does is it will throw Tumblefolk along the wind chain. And it's kind of similar to a tornado because whenever you throw the Tumblefolk on the chain, each Tumblefolk will move to the position of the next Tumblefolk. So this Tumblefolk in the back will move to where this Tumblefolk in the front was, and then since it's not a complete loop, the Tumblefolk in the very front of the chain just gets thrown off the end, since it has no there's no other place for it to move to. Basically, it can't replace anyone's spot because there's no one in front of it, so it just gets thrown off the end. And the direction it gets thrown off is determined by the direction you draw the wind into the tile with. So in this case, since we have low energy, we have to complete this puzzle in one turn or else we run out. So we're going to want to throw the Tumblefolk towards the portal, and that solves it for us. Alternatively, we could have thrown the portal towards the Tumblefolk. That also works. Alright, so now we have another new element. We see one of these Tumblefolk has a flag on it, and that indicates that it is a tribe folk. It belongs to a tribe. You can tell what tribe it belongs to by the symbol on the flag. And the deal with the tribes is they behave just like normal Tumblefolk, except if you save them in a special way, then you'll get bonus energy, which will allow you to take more turns and save more Tumblefolk. So we want to do that. Each tribe has its own special requirement for bonus energy. So we can hover over the flag here to see what this one's requirement is. And so this tribe needs you to teleport its Tumblefolk from the space the portal is on. So it can't be teleported, or you won't get bonus energy if you teleport it from any of the outer pink area. It has to be teleported from the portal space exactly. So again, we have sort of low energy here. So we're going to need to get that bonus energy in order to solve this puzzle. Because see, if we just end our turn now, then both these Tumblefolk will be saved. But since the tribe folk was not on the portal space, it will not give you bonus energy. So now we only have 4 energy left, and we lose 4 energy per turn. So that means we don't have enough time to save this Tumblefolk. So what we have to do is do a tornado to swap these two Tumblefolk around so that the tribe folk is in front and will activate the portal and will be on the portal space when it gets teleported. Okay, and so see, since we got those stars, that means we got energy. And so now we have 7 energy instead of the 4 we had previously, which means we have 2 turns left, and we have time to save this last Tumblefolk. Alright, and so that's all the tutorial levels. Those are the basics of the game. There are a couple more rules, and there are more abilities and more tribes, but hopefully you'll be able to figure those out on your own. And so if you want to check out the game, I'll have it linked below, and if you want to leave us any feedback, I'll have a link for that too. So I'm going to be doing another video after this. I'm going to do a video where I play a match to show what the real thing's like, and I hope to see you then.